I would now request the President of Indian Economic Trade Organization to orient us about how exactly they are. Let me tell you, they are knowledge partners of the CEO Conclave. So they are going to have an active role to play in all the designations part about the cyber security courses. So I would request the industry academia gap and the cyber security courses orientation to be given to me on an international circuit. As I said, this is a problem internationally. This is not an India-centric problem. So he will orient into what is his experience on this to you all, and let's see how we work it out and come with a good solution towards the end of the day. Asif, please, the stage is for you.
Pro Vice Chancellor of the GITAM University, other officials and members of the board of the GITAM University, Mr. S. Krishna Kumar, who is my senior colleague and my advisor and who has been there in all our endeavors, Mr. Chekman Kanafi, who is here fortunately for this conclave today. He was the first Consul General of Israel in South India. Mr. Amit Eshet, Mr. Henrik Van Dodd, and of course Mr. Sarit Kumarji, Mr. Ashok Kumarji, who is here with us, and Professor Murthy, who is a nuclear scientist who has come from Andhra Pradesh for this. Thank you, sir, for coming. Mr. Yatharth, who is always here, and thank you very much for once again enthralling our Israeli guests by singing the national anthem, and he can sing national anthems of more than 130 countries, and it's really a great honor for us to have him with us. Thank you once again. Chris Paul, who is also our international strategist, who has a wide experience in FMCG segment and who can share his great value and valuable inputs in advising student and academia partnership. We as knowledge partners, the Indian Economic Trade Organization, we are a business intelligence that fills the gap between academia and the industry. Just like how we saw the session in the morning, Mr. Sanjay Sahai spoke about cyber security and the gap that is between these two sectors. It is not only cyber security, but many other areas where we see, that's the reason why we see a huge number of unemployability of engineers. I think it's almost 82% now in the country. That is only because we are depending on the degrees, and students should not think that just getting a degree will make them employable. You need to go beyond that. And that is the reason why the Indian Economic Trade Organization is here to help you to fill that gap and understand what the industry needs and how to address those minute inputs that are required for students to become employable immediately after your graduation and increase this employability and reduce the gap. Now, to orient you for this particular session and take you on a roadmap, we had discussions with the Pro VC 2 months ago, and he expressed keen interest in helping you people, you the students, both from here and Visakhapatnam campus. And he came up with a idea as to how, in what way that he can support you using our knowledge skills and our network, which we have in 29 countries worldwide. And that's how this CEO Conclave came to existence. Of course, with Mr. Sarit Kumar, the Dean, his proactive approach to put this together and take an initiative in getting our delegates here today. So thank you, Mr. Sarit Kumar, for getting this done. Mr. Krishna Kumar is a distinguished bureaucrat. He was a topper, by the way, and his record is still not broken in the engineering till today. He's a mechanical engineer from Kerala, and his record is still not broken. He came up with that, and then he spent his years being joining politics and being a minister for 9 years, in different areas, including the Minister of State for Defense, the Government of India. So during that time, he has contributed a lot to the defense industry, and now that he is now giving his inputs for our organization, and as the chairman of the Cyber Security Society of India, which has a lot of companies as members of the Cyber Security Society, and with this particular inputs and with this particular strength that we have, we wanted to help GITAM University to establish an association for cyber security course, a master's course in cyber security, and we have spoken to 3 universities in Israel, and they would be coming here in a week's time or two to interact and to understand the university's strength, to support and to sign official memorandum of understanding. So once we have them coming on, and the valuation of your course and the employability skills and the knowledge skills would increase to a great extent, which is not in India yet. So I am looking forward to see that we do it for the first time in India with a collaboration from Israel. Mr. Krishna Kumar and myself visited Israel 3 months back, and we participated in one of the largest cyber security conferences, and we met some of the top institutes and universities and companies. One of the largest companies called Cyberbit, which is an offshoot of a defense company called Elbit Systems in Israel, which works very closely with the government of India and the Ministry of Defense. So they have their own unit called Cyberbit, which is a cyber security domain, one of the largest in the world. We have had meetings with them, and we had deliberations with them, and we have decided to see how we can bring their skills and their inputs to help you to improve the technology and the course material by creating a structured module. So we are going to be going back again to Israel very soon, and taking these things across and closing them and seeing how we can structure them and take things forward. Mr. Sheikh Menahem Kanafi is a former ambassador of Israel who worked for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and who was responsible for establishing the Bengaluru office. He single-handedly started, and when he was sent by the government to set up the operations, he undertook the complete planning and installing of the Consul General's office in South India, in Bangalore, which is also in charge of Andhra Pradesh and Kerala and Tamil Nadu and Pondicherry. So he has maximum inputs, and he has always been very, very voluntary in seeing how he can help. So in the true sense, India and Israel are friends. It is not just what our Prime Minister went and we are seeing out there, but there are people from Israel who are real friends of this country and who have, joined up with India and the Indian people to contribute and to help and to grow together to build a successful and a prosperous future for everybody and the humanity as a whole. So I want to thank Mr. Sheikh Menahem Kanafi for being here, and I look forward to more support from you and more inputs and more advice so that we can grow together. Mr. Amit Eshet also, we have been interacting for quite some time, and then he was in India. He was here for a tourist kind of session, and he was visiting temples and ashrams, and that's what is interesting for people who come from outside. So he was in the Kerala ashram, and I called him and requested him to be here. So he was very happy to come and be a part of this gathering here. And thank you very much, Mr. Amit, for giving your valuable time. And he's going to be planning to have some assignment in India soon for some time. And we will work together, and we will see in what way we can work and take things forward. Mr. Chris Paul also is going to be here to help you understand the needs, because he has been with a lot of FMCG sectors. He has noticed the Indian employees and what are the drawbacks and what are the gaps that they have. He has noticed on a practical grassroots level, and he would be at some point very, very interesting to let you know what is missing, and in what way you can help yourself, and in what way we can help as the IETO to help you grow. So you will have all these inputs today, and you are welcome to interact with all of us in any area you want. You are welcome to connect us with us on the Facebook, all the social media platforms that you are already there today. And of course, Mr. Sarit Kumar, the Dean, is a one-point contact for you to help us to put any kind of a request you want. Mr. Henrik Van Dodd runs a course called the FOP, which is the foreign orientation program, especially for students who want to go out, who want to go to countries like Middle East, which is a grade 1 to grade 2 and grade 3. So there are different requirements of different countries. So Mr. Hendrik runs those programs and certification programs where very short programs of 1 day and 2 days. If somebody wants to go to the Middle East, then there's a specific program. If somebody wants to go to Europe, there's a specific program. Somebody wants to go to North America and Canada, there's a specific program. So it's basically the foreign orientation program that he runs with his vast experience in the intelligence and the gathering of data from different countries as to what they need, because a lot of students before going there need to be oriented as to how they can be successful. And many companies look at these certificates and understand that you have already gone through a program, through a course, and they will be very happy to have you. And of course, that will also add a certificate from the FOP will add value to your existing certificates that you have, and which will be really valuable for you as a FOP course. Finally, I would like to thank you very much once again, Provisi, for putting this together and making a gap between these two reduce. And we would go ahead and we will do our best to collaborate and connect you, and we will also sign the MOU for the cyber security. We have 3 universities, so let us finalize and let them come here. So we will take this forward. We have in principle taken things ahead. And the Cyber Security Society of India, our chairman, Mr. Krishna Kumar, is here. He will also give his necessary inputs and support as to what needs to be done. I also want to thank Mr. Murthy, who's a nuclear scientist and a senior professor, who will also, to a great extent, contribute to our being the collaboration. I being the president of the Indo-Israel Friendship Society with 5,800 members in the country. And I invite you all to be the friends of the Indo-Israel Society. Please log into our Facebook page of the Indo-Israel Friendship Society and be the friends of Israel. And that will also help us to collaborate with them, understand their needs. I would especially like to thank and wish them a very happy Jewish New Year. Today is a Jewish New Year, you see. And we actually had other people from the Consul General's office today, but they had to excuse themselves because of this fact that it is very, very important for them. And since we have 2 people here who are tourists, I told them, please come to the college and celebrate the Jewish New Year and let others understand what the Jewish New Year is. And at some point, Mr. Amit will talk about it, and he'll tell you how they celebrate and what is the cultural aspect of the Jewish New Year. Coincidentally, yesterday was a Islamic New Year as well. So the Indo-Israel Friendship Society tries to celebrate everything together and bring things on the same platform to have a prosperous and a successful relationship between people of this planet. And I would like to end up by, there is a video that you are going to see now, an orientation of the country, Israel, just a small 3-minute video. And I wish you all the best and we'll look forward. Thank you very much.
I hope you enjoyed the video. Yes. Want to go to Israel? Yes. Great. Then do the cyber security course. Okay. So now I would request, of course, Chuck Menahem Kanafi. I am really elated that you are here on the new Jewish New Year Day and you have given chance to hospitalate GITAM for you. And we are honored that, sir, you are here, but we'll be further honored if you can tell something about this collaboration which we are planning in the times to come. Thank you, sir. Please come. The stage is yours.
Everybody's cool? Yes. You've been sitting here for quite some time now. I just want to make sure everybody's awake.
Sir, please sit down.
Does anybody here remember a time when India and Israel were at war? Well, it wasn't a military war. It wasn't a physical war. But in the early days of independence, of Israel's independence and Indian independence, Israel and India were locked in a tight competition for a moving phone. For influence in a very unconventional part of the world. And the Prime Minister, the then Prime Minister of India, Nehru, and Golda Meir, who was the Foreign Minister of Israel at the time, spent a lot of time in Western Africa trying to convince the states there that they should be aligned with one or with the other. So anywhere Golda would go, Nehru would go. And anywhere Nehru would go, Golda would go. And so the beginning of Indian and Israeli relationship was the beginning of a relationship of turbulence, of tension, and of conflict. And in fact, India and Israel did not have diplomatic relations until just 25 years ago, until 1992, when both India and Israel realized that this time they should put aside their differences, perhaps, and try to find their commonalities. Both Israel and India were British colonies. Both India and Israel were countries who had very close ties with diasporas, with Jews in the world, with NRIs around the world, with contacts with families, with cross-pollination, with an openness to the world. And both countries' names started with the letter I. What could be more common than that? That was supposed to be a joke. You're supposed to laugh at that. Both countries' names started with the letter I. But since 1992, the relations between Israel and India have been growing steadily, both in terms of exchange of people, exchange of ideas, even exchange of technologies, and exchange of businesses. It began naturally with defense cooperation. Another commonality between Israel and between India is that they're surrounded by enemies and have very complicated political and defense situations around their borders. So the cooperation began there, but over time, it developed into much larger fields. Israel was especially recognized in the field of agriculture for the development of drip agriculture, which was actually invented in India 2,500 years before. Israel has created systems of bringing water, just individual drips to individual plants so that you can grow in desert areas with minimal water use. And in India, 2,500 years ago, pots of water were hung before the tulsi plants, slowly dripping. So basically, we copied you, but it took us 2,000 years to do it. That was another joke. Now, the relations have blossomed in all sorts of fields. There are 3 Israeli representations in India, In Delhi, in the capital, in Mumbai, the business capital, and in Bangalore, the technological capital. And this is why we opened it here, specifically here. In fact, the original idea was to open in Chennai. And why in Chennai? Because the Americans are in Chennai, so the Americans must know better. But we said no. High tech is here, innovation is here, the future is here in Bangalore, and that's why you're here also.